Hey there, welcome to Craft Central Designs. Today I'm sharing with you 3 kitchen coastal decor pieces. I absolutely love coastal decor, whether it be in the kitchen or the living room and the bathroom or even on a Christmas tree. I live in Florida near the ocean, and coastal decor is so beautifully symbolic of all that the beach represents, from the colors to the textures to the natural shells that we so love and appreciate. I speak now and then of my weekend happy place, my RV, which is so tranquil, nestled in the trees and beautifully renovated and embellished in coastal decor theme throughout. Coastal decor is one of my absolute favorite types of crafting. And here you have a little inside view of the little kitchen area in my RV, and that's where I have the coastal decor placed that I'm going to be showing you today. Welcome back to my channel if you are currently a subscriber, and if not, I hope you will consider becoming one. I hope you will also give this video a thumbs up and leave me your comments. I love receiving them, and your responsiveness helps my channel to grow, and I really appreciate that. Okay, so let me show you how I created these 3 kitchen coastal decor pieces. This is a wicker napkin holder / salt and pepper holder. Now, I had gotten this on Amazon last year. I'm sure you could probably still find it there or find something similar in a thrift store or at Home Goods. I have here a can of white Rust-Oleum paint, which I'm going to spray paint that wicker napkin holder / salt and pepper holder. I have there some white, well, it's actually an off-white ivory color cord that I had purchased in the Crafter's Square section at the Dollar Tree. And I have here an assortment of shells. I'm going to be using some of those shells to decorate the front of the napkin holder. Now, it's not difficult to find shells in a craft store. You could also order any type of shell of any size that you want as well on Amazon. But any of the craft stores, Michael's, Hobby Lobby, even like shell shops if you live anywhere near the ocean, very easy to find shells. And I have an assortment of different ones there. I have some larger sand dollars as well. I believe at some point in time I had purchased those on Amazon. Like I said, very easy to find any kind of shells that you want on Amazon. And I had there as well some coastal napkins that I showed you. I'll show you more of those in just a moment. So I took my holder outside and I spray painted it. I gave it a couple of coats of white spray paint. And now I like it much better. I felt that it needed a makeover. I really wasn't thrilled with it the way it was, so I decided to give it a complete makeover into a coastal theme. Now I placed inside of there some of those little baby mason jar salt and pepper shakers. It's very easy to find those at Home Goods. And I'm going to show you here a selection of coastal napkins, which I think goes so beautifully in this napkin holder. Now, I find these at Home Goods. And here is a trivet that I created last year with that very same napkin. And I did that from 2 of the cutting boards in the kitchen section at the Dollar Tree. There's another beautiful coastal napkin. And another, I also did some other DIYs with that napkin. I love to decoupage with napkins. And this is a beautiful one. It's kind of got a mermaid feel to it. So pretty. So now I have my white napkin holder, salt and pepper shaker holder. And I'm going to embellish this piece with some shells. I'm going to use a larger sand dollar there. I want to say it's around 3.5 inches, and it fits just perfectly right there on the front of that napkin holder. Now, if you have anything even remotely similar, you can improvise, use different size shells, different shapes, use an assortment of shells, and just attach it to the napkin holder. This is the cord that I suggested that I got at the Dollar Tree. And I really like it for smaller coastal pieces. I've used it on a number of pieces, including the starfish that I did on the starfish frame from the Dollar Tree. And here's another type of cord that they have at Michael's. And it's pretty much the same as the cord that I got at the Dollar Tree. I'm just showing you that because if you don't have a Dollar Tree that has that, you could find it easily at Michael's. Now for the very front of the napkin holder, I'm going to continue on with the sand dollar theme. I really love sand dollars. I think they're the most beautiful type of shell. So I'm going to use the larger sand dollar on the upper part of the napkin holder, and then I am going to use a smaller sand dollar right on the front, in the lower front. I also have here some little baby starfish. I believe I had gotten these on Amazon. As I mentioned, Amazon has a lot of different types of shells. And very affordable. They're very affordable on Amazon. So what I'm going to be doing is wrapping a cord around the body of the front of the napkin holder where the salt and pepper shakers will go. And I'm continuing to show you the assortment of shells that I have. You can get anything from the large sand dollar all the way down to the tiniest of tiny little shells that I just showed you in that container there. Again, Amazon. You can find all that kind of thing and at Amazon, if I could speak. All right, so now I'm trying out different types of shells. What do I want to use on this piece? Just kind of a little dry run, if you will, just to establish what I want to do with this piece and how I want it to look. So I have some really pretty scallop shells there, some clam shells, some starfish, and sand dollars. I ended up staying with the sand dollar theme. And then I just used a couple of little tiny starfish on the front of this piece, as well as some really tiny little shells just to embellish the front of that holder. I'm showing you even more there. I have quite an assortment of shells. I do, and I can pick them up at my beach, but not all types of shells. Just certain types of shells. Some I actually have to either go to a shell shop for, or order them on Amazon, or pick them up at the craft store. So now I'm going to begin wrapping, just randomly wrapping my cord around the front of that wicker napkin holder. And I'm not going to wrap it straight. I'm going to kind of crisscross it in the front. I wanted to have, I don't want to say a messy look, but more crisscrossed in the front. I'm going to show you what I mean here in just a minute. So I took some hot glue and secured my cord to the inside of that area where I'm going to be wrapping. And then I'm just going to proceed to wrap and wrap and wrap around the front until I'm satisfied with the way it looks. I did secure the cord on there just in a couple of small places. because it was holding on to that wicker very well, and I didn't really need much glue. Now, like I said, you don't necessarily have to find a holder just like this, but you might be able to find something similar, and I would suggest I always love the idea of going to thrift stores and finding things to completely make over. I just love doing that, taking something that was discarded by someone and seeing the beauty in it and seeing the potential in it, bringing it home, and with some paint and some embellishments, making it look like a completely new piece that suits your decor. That is so much fun to do. So I'm just wrapping and wrapping until I'm satisfied. I think I wrapped maybe around 6 times. And then when I'm satisfied with the wrapping, I'm going to secure the end in this back side where I started with a little bit of hot glue, and that's going to be all I need to do for that. It's going to hold very well and very secure. And I think that's just about it. You can see I crisscrossed the cord there in the front. And I think one of the really fun things about finishing this project was just having the coastal napkins. Now, at Home Goods or TJ Maxx or At Home or Home Sense, wherever store like that you shop, there's always a little section with like the gift wrap and gift bags. That's where you'll find the napkins. And they often have really, really pretty, very good quality napkins. And whatever you don't use in your napkin holder, I guarantee you could find something to decoupage. Like perhaps 2 of those glass trivet pieces that you get in the kitchen section at the Dollar Tree. Decoupage a napkin on there. Place the 2 pieces of glass, actually they're called cutting boards at the Dollar Tree, together, and you have a beautiful coastal trivet. I actually did a video on this. If you look in my playlist, I have a video where I did just that. Okay, so I'm going to use Aleene's Tacky Glue to hold on my sand dollar, but I also used a little dab of hot glue as well. But I just love the long-term hold of Aleene's Tacky Glue, and it dries very clear. So I always think it's a good idea to have that extra security of that tacky glue. So I took a smaller sand dollar and I just placed it right on the front of that napkin holder. And on the sides of that small sand dollar, I'm going to place a few little tiny starfish, as well as some really, really tiny little baby shells, just to dress up the front of that napkin holder. Again, if you are not currently a subscriber, I hope you will consider becoming one and give this video a thumbs up and leave me your comments and let me know which of the 3 coastal pieces you enjoyed watching today and which of the 3 you will consider creating for your home. Coastal kitchens are so beautiful. I just love the look of that, and the blues and the teals and the mint green. Oh, the colors are so beautiful that go with coastal. So I'm just going to use tacky glue to glue on my little baby starfish. And now I'm showing you those other little tiny, tiny shells. They look like little baby conch shells. They're really, really cute. They actually carry those at the Dollar Tree. I haven't seen them there lately, but they were selling them for quite a while in little glass jars in the area where they have like the faux flowers and the moss and the sand and the rocks in the bags. You might get lucky and be able to find some there, but they were really nice little shells. So I'm just going to do a dry run and arrange those shells where I want them on the front of that piece. And then I will just take my tacky glue and glue those on. And then I have to place on my larger sand dollar. And that's going to go right on the front. You can also pick up Aleene's Tacky Glue at the Dollar Tree, and there you have it. I have all of my shells placed on the front, along with my cording. Now I have my large sand dollar. I'm going to glue that right to the front of my napkin holder. Any areas that actually press up against the napkin holder, I'll place a little bit of Aleene's Tacky Glue. And that will be it. It's that simple to convert a simple, plain item into a coastal theme. Now to keep that shell in place, that sand dollar, I did use a clip to hold it while it's drying. You'll see this in just a minute. Just to be sure it has a good adherence. And that it's well tacked down to that wicker napkin holder. And there you have it. And I believe I'm going to put the clip on now. And I'll let that set aside and dry. And that's all there is to it. Very simple. Okay, now everything is all dry. And I could take my clip off now. My shells are all in place. And I could put my salt and pepper shakers in there now. See the little handle on there? They're kind of like little mason jars. You can actually find some that are labeled with the glass etched with mason on the jar. I've seen those at Home Goods, but those were just similar to that. So then the last but not least, put in some very pretty coastal napkins. And I'm going to show you what the different shaped napkins look like inside. So everything fits. The long rectangular ones, the square ones, those are pretty with shells on them in beautiful colors of blue. There's the That one looks very kind of like shells to me. I've done DIYs with that one too. And there's one of my favorites. I just love the chairs at the beach under the umbrella. And there you have your napkin / salt and pepper shaker holder. And that's it. And that's project number 1 of the kitchen coastal decor items. Now, these spoons I have done in the past, but the container that I have them in seriously needs a redo. The bow is all smashed. It's just kind of worse for wear. So what I'm going to do is give this a makeover. But in the meantime, I'm going to show you, I love to do wooden spoons. I love to paint wooden spoons. I do them for all the holidays, and I did coastal ones as well. Now for my new bow, I have an assortment of ribbons, and the colors are going to be royal blue and that teal color that you see on the spoons. And then I'm also going to add some cord. Along with that, a narrow burlap ribbon. And that twisted cord there. I'm going to use a few different types of cord and ribbon. As you can see, that goes beautifully with the spoons and the spatula. I'll show you those spoons and spatula and all that in just a second here. And I got most of my ribbons at Hobby Lobby, but this one is an Offray ribbon. So that one is from Walmart. I love Walmart ribbons. So I'm going to show you my wooden pieces. Now I purchase, and whenever I do wooden pieces for the kitchen, spoons and spatulas, I purchase a better quality, a bigger spatula and spoon at Home Goods. So I need like an area that's a little bit bigger to place my pictures. Now I did a seahorse on this one, and I absolutely love these coastal spoons and spatula. What I do whenever I want to sketch out something or paint something, I just go on the internet and I find images. And I look at the images and I draw it out on my spoon or my spatula with a pencil. And I do that because I can erase. If I make a mistake, I can make something bigger or change the line of something. Before I paint it, I sketch it all out with as simple as that with a pencil. Here's my lobster. Love it. Notice how I placed some of those little tiny shells on my coastal spoon. And again, I get these utensils from somewhere like Home Goods or At Home or any of those stores like that. And here we have a tropical fish. So I have 4 different ones: a turtle, a seahorse, a crab. Did I call it a lobster before? I meant to say a crab. I think I called it a lobster. And a fish. But anyway, I love my spoons, and I fully intend to keep them. But this container really needs a makeover. So my point in showing you this is sometimes you still like a piece, but it just really needs something. It needs a refresh. Maybe it needs a new bow, a new ribbon, a new jar. Just think about how you can redo something and give it a whole new look. And that's basically what I'm doing here. This jar I had purchased at Hobby Lobby when it was 40% off. It has a jute handle, which I like, especially for the coastal look. So I pulled off, with a little bit of trouble, I pulled off the piece of burlap, that was hot glue to the top of that jar. And I'm going to place a different piece of burlap ribbon on there. So basically, I have basically the same piece, but I'm creating a whole new fresh look for it by just simply getting some new ribbons, making a new bow with lots of varied ribbons and textures, wrapping a new piece of ribbon around the top, giving the jar a good cleaning. And I'm going to be putting my spoons back in that jar. So basically it's the same piece, but I'm giving it a refresh. And that's very easy to do. If you look at your decor and you think, well, I'm really tired of that. It's the same old, same old. I've been looking at it for 2-3 years. Think about how you can change it with paint or with ribbon or with cord. Paint is a huge one. If it's something that you can paint, that's the best way to get you started on a refresh on an item. And then just think from there how you could change it, how you could make it look different, but yet there was still a little something about the piece that you liked. Think about how you can just give it a little refresh. So that's basically what I did with these spoons and spatula, because I really, really love the painted utensils. So I'm going to be creating a bunch of figure 8 bows. I want to say the loops are about maybe 3 inches in length. And I'm just going to use some craft wire and secure all the loops of each one of my bows. I have a twisted cord there. That goes very beautifully with that burlap. I have a couple of different types of ribbon. I have one in the royal blue and one in the teal that's going to pick up the teals and the royal blue and the painted utensils. I have that narrow burlap ribbon. So I'm adding a lot of texture and color to my bow. And this is going to really freshen up that piece. And I'm just doing here a figure 8 bow. That's what I call it, because I'm just shaping like an 8. And I'm actually doing like 2 8s pressed together. This is how I do small bows. And then I just secure them in the center with a piece of wire. After I get those all created, then I'm going to take one piece of wire, stack all of the bows together, and secure that with a thin wire. And then to embellish the center of my bow, I'm not going to create a loop. I'm going to put some type of shell, because this is a coastal piece and that is going to look really, really pretty on this piece. And I'm going to wait until I get the cluster of the little bows on my piece before I cut the tails to determine how long I want them. And now I'm going to add a little bit of teal because I want some color on this piece. I don't want it to be just the burlap colors in the ribbons. I wanted to bring out, as I mentioned, the colors in the coastal painted characters, if you will. Characters? The seahorse, the crab, the fish. Okay, so now I believe that was my last bow there, or maybe there's one more that goes on top. It was kind of a braided cord. It was really pretty. So I'm deciding here which one. Oh, I forgot to mention my turtle. There's a turtle there as well. So I'm going to decide Now, which of these shells that I want to put in the center of my bow? Yeah, that's the last one. It's kind of a braided cord. It has a little bit of a jute, a burlap look. So I got a few different types of textures going on that bow. Even some white stitching. And then I'm just going to simply stack them all together. As I mentioned before about the painting on the utensils, I just simply go to the internet and I type in a search, say for example, seahorse images, and I find one that looks to be not too complicated because I'm really looking for a good outline that I feel that I can follow and copy by looking at it. And I just simply take a pencil and I draw right on the spatula or the spoon. And if I make a mistake, it's no problem at all because I can erase it with the eraser on the pencil. And after I have my image all drawn out, then I get my paints out and I just paint it. And I'm not a natural artist in that I can just off the top of my head paint a turtle. I really need to look at an image. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you can look at something and create it. Another good source to look at is children's books. They often have simple images and it makes it a little bit easier to follow. Also, on my spatulas and my spoons, I use an ultra fine Sharpie marker in black, and that's what I use to create a lot of my outlining. And after I have my painting done, and I want to outline all of the features of my sea creatures, I just use that ultra fine Sharpie marker. It works like a charm on these pieces. And so that's really the best way to do that is to use a Sharpie marker. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue my shell right into the center of my bow. And that is just the beautiful finishing coastal touch to this piece. And I'm going to be gluing that pretty bow right off to the left side of the front of my jar where I'm going to place all of my wood utensils. I took a heat gun because it was very difficult to get that teal, it's like a teal burlap that was on there before. And I used my heat gun to try and get some of that glue off, and that worked really well. Heat guns are really a wonderful tool to have if you're a crafter. So now I'm going to take that narrow burlap ribbon, and it's just the right width, and I'm going to wrap it around the top of that jar using a little dab of hot glue to secure that. And then I'm going to glue my bow right to that burlap ribbon that I wrapped around the top of that jar. And I'm going to place it right there off to the left. And then I'm going to arrange my spoons back into the jar. And now I've taken a piece that was looking a little bit worse for wear. My bow was frazzled and smushed, and the jar needed a good cleaning. And I completely made over this piece. And now I'm able to keep my spoons and the beautiful look of this piece. And again, I'm just pointing out that you don't need to go always to buy something new. Sometimes it's just a matter of giving something a little refresh and just change small things about the piece, and it can make a huge difference. And now that I have my bow on there, I'm going to trim my tails. And I don't dovetail those, I just angle the bottom. And look how pretty that is. I'm just going to take a sharp pair of scissors so I can get a nice clean cut. And I'm going to trim the tails, angling my ribbons on the bottom. Now, another thing that you could do to this piece would be to wrap some cording around the bottom of the jar, maybe about 1 inch in width, just to offer a little extra character to the bottom of the jar. Now, if you wanted to find some pretty jars, I would suggest going to the department at Hobby Lobby. Every other week it's 40% off. And they have a department, it's a lot of glassware. Trying to think of how to direct you to find that. Just look for a section with a lot of glass jars. That's it. And look through there because you might be able to find a pretty looking jar that you could dress up as well if you wanted to do this project. And as well, I think they still have that particular jar with the jute handle. So you do you. I'm just making suggestions if you'd like to do some spoons in a coastal theme. Now, possibly you could find some stencils, or not, rub-on transfers or stencils, but you have to make sure that they're of a size that will fit comfortably on your wooden utensils. But if you don't want to paint, you don't want to draw, you could use a stencil or you could use a rub-on transfer. Now, I don't use those to cook. Obviously, they're purely for decoration. But you know, that you do you. I like things like that on the counter. Mine are in my RV, as you've seen before. Okay, so piece number 3. All right, this is another makeover, but I can tell you that this particular piece is in the department at Walmart by the faux flowers and where they have the wreaths and the burlap. This looks wood in a wood color, and it has that glass piece that fits inside. I've seen this at every Walmart I've ever been to in that department by the wreaths and the fake flowers. Okay, this beautiful little glass piece. It's a substantial, nice little glass piece. Fits right in that wood base. And it's meant to do like, I guess, little baby terrarium. But what we're going to do is put sand in it. And what I have here is a little glass bowl from the Dollar Tree. They're in the glass department. They come 4 in a set for $1.25. I love these bowls. I often create little glass candle holders with these. And it just so happens that that little glass bowl has come through for me again because it fits perfectly on top of that glass piece. And the candle, it's actually like a floater candle, but you can use it just as well in that glass bowl. I picked those up at Hobby Lobby in the candle department. It fits perfectly in that glass bowl. So what we're going to have here is a coastal piece with shells and sand. And on top, you can pop a little glass bowl and put a candle in it, and you've got a beautiful candle holder and coastal piece. For I like to have a candle in the kitchen. You could also place this, of course, somewhere else in your living room if you like. I'm showing you here some shells that I happen to have in my possession. But again, like I said, you can find shells and assortment bags at any craft store. You sometimes can find them at Home Goods. And I'm going to be using some of these little tiny ones because I'm going to put quite a few little shells in there. You'll see here in just a moment. Now that bottom piece, you'll see it's kind of I don't know, a tealish blue color now, because that's the way I had it with my decor before. But as I said, I'm refreshing this piece and giving it a new look. A lot of my coastal now, I'm going with like a royal blue main color. So I'm going to be painting the base of that once again. I have here some white sand. Now, I picked this up, a bag of sand, at the Dollar Tree. The sand on my beach is brown. So besides, I wanted some clean sand, so I picked that up at the Dollar Tree. So now I'm going to take my base piece, which is just wood, that's going to hold that glass piece, and I'm just going to paint it with Waverly chalk paint in the color Ocean appropriately. And I'm just going to cover up all of that other blue color. And I'm going to change the look of my piece. And again, this is how you refresh and create a new look to something that you already have in your home. So I painted that whole thing, and I'm letting it dry off to the side. Now I'm going to take my sand and dump it into my glass container. Now, how you place your shells, what shells you use, how you configure your sand in there. I kind of like to have mine going uphill, if that makes sense. And I place my larger shell in the back. And I'm going to be using a small type of starfish in the back. And then some of my other shells, my scallop shells. I think I put a few little tiny starfish in there. Just an assortment of different shells. I stick it right in the sand and arrange it just like I would arrange a floral piece, balancing out my shells, trying to create symmetry and balance in the piece. And this is a fun part. I love arranging shells in this kind of fashion. I've done some larger pieces like this as well, and it's so much fun. I just love shells. I think they're so magnificent. To think that these beautiful, beautiful pieces came from the ocean. To me, it's just so fascinating. The shapes and the curvature of these items, it's just so beautiful, so magnificent. And some of them, you think about it, at some point, little creatures lived inside of them. I just think they have a lot of history, and they're just beautiful to me. I absolutely love them. I tried to put a variety of different shells in my piece for visual interest. Some of them I stuck in the sand, sticking up out of the sand. Some of them were flatter. I mean, again, you do you, however you like to do that. And then I put some of the little tiniest shells all around in any little spaces that were open, kind of like you do with a filler flower in an arrangement. I think I put a little small sand dollar inside of there as well. And I decided that was enough. Maybe not. Maybe not. Looks like it's gonna, here comes a couple of these tiny starfish. They're so pretty. They're so tiny and so delicate. I think I had gotten those in a bag on Amazon. Last year I was doing a lot of coastal pieces. Now, notice I have a little bit of that point of one of the starfish that broke off, so that's fine. I could just poke it down in the sand and leave the other point sticking up, and you'll never know the difference. So if you have any blemishes, if you will, or little broken pieces on a shell, just think of how you can camouflage those defects by using your other shells around it. And there you have it. And it's so pretty. Now I'm going to be taking that wood base that I painted with that Waverly chalk paint in Ocean. And I'm going to take a kind of a bristle brush, and I'm just going to dry brush over that blue just to give it a little bit of a kind of a worn look that's very typically coastal. So I just took that brush there. Oh, I think that's a small chippy brush that I used. And I keep a paper towel handy to take off most of the paint. And I'm just going to drag my brush very lightly over that wood piece just to kind of distress it a little bit, give it more of a coastal look. This is a very, very easy piece to do by simply picking up this piece at Walmart, adding a little bit of paint to suit your decor color, gathering together any shells that you have, picking up some sand at the Dollar Tree, and some of those little bowls and a candle from Hobby Lobby. And you have a very inexpensive, very pretty candle holder in a coastal theme. And this looks really pretty in a kitchen, on a kitchen counter, or anywhere in your living room. It would be pretty. So I'm just distressing all of the parts of that wood piece that are blue very lightly. I just go over it with my paintbrush, which is pretty scraggly, as you can see there, but that's good because it creates the kind of effect that we want on that piece. If you get too heavy-handed with any areas on there, you can always dip your brush in the blue and, touch that up if you're not accustomed to distressing that way. Okay, now we're going to put everything all together. Oh, wait, we're going to wrap some cord. Sorry, I forgot about this part. I'm going to take some of that cord that I got from Michael's. It's kind of a rough, a rough texture cord. It's very suitable for this project. I just put a little dab of hot glue. And again, just like I wrapped the napkin holder, I'm going to wrap some cord around the bottom of this just to give it a little bit more character. And I'm not concerned about wrapping it straight. I actually want it, again, to be a little bit crisscrossed, going this way, that way. I don't want it to look all uniformly wrapped straight. But maybe you like that look, you do you. But this just adds another little bit of coastal charm to this piece. I almost forgot about that part. I think I wrapped it around 6 times, and it grabs on very well to that wood, so you don't really even have to use much glue. So once I'm satisfied with the wrap, I'm going to just take a bit of hot glue and glue the end down and snip it off. And then we're going to put the piece all together. And there you have it. Just a little bit of extra embellishment there. And you can do that step or not do that step. That's completely up to you. I'm just giving you ideas. Okay, now we'll put our glass full of shells on there. I'm trying to remember how much I paid for this. Honestly, it was very inexpensive. I do remember that. I can't remember how much it was, but it was at Walmart. It's not expensive. And here's the little bowl that I got in the glassware department at the Dollar Tree. Actually, it comes 4 in a pack, so you could have extra bowls for future projects. I've done some candle pieces for various holidays with these glass bowls. If you follow my channel, I'm sure you've seen these before. But I love it because you can just take the bowl off the top. And if you need to get the wax or the candle when it melts down, you just put it in the freezer and then pop it out when it gets cold. And there you have a beautiful little coastal candle holder. And here we have all of our items all collected together. My beautiful spoons that I love so much. My candle holder with the beautiful shells. And the napkin holder. I hope you feel inspired to do some coastal crafting for your kitchen. And there will be more upcoming for other areas in the home on my channel in the near future. Let me know in the comments which one is your favorite. And until next time, you all take care.